who ignore them. Stop chasing her. Stoic Attraction Secrets YouTube. Inner Steel Introduction. There is a truth about attraction that many men struggle to understand. The more they chase, the more she pulls away. The more they try to prove their worth, the less she values them. And the more attention they give, the more invisible they become. It sounds unfair. It sounds confusing, but it is a pattern that has played out in relationships for centuries. Many men believe that if they show more love, more attention, and more effort, a woman will naturally appreciate them more. But reality often proves the opposite. Some men give everything, yet get ignored. Some men chase constantly, yet get rejected. Meanwhile, another man walks into the room, barely trying, barely speaking, and somehow he becomes the one she is curious about. Why? Why do women often become more interested in the man who seems less interested in them? The answer is not manipulation. The answer is not playing games. The answer lies in something much deeper: human psychology and Stoic strength. Stoic philosophy teaches us something powerful: the more you control yourself, the more powerful your presence becomes. A man who is desperate for attention is easy to ignore, but a man who is calm, focused, and emotionally self-controlled becomes incredibly difficult to overlook. Today we will explore why women often feel drawn to men who don't chase them, and how embracing Stoic principles can transform the way people see you. Not by pretending to ignore women, but by becoming a man whose life is so meaningful that chasing anyone becomes unnecessary. And once you understand this, everything about attraction begins to make sense. 1. Scarcity creates value. One of the most powerful psychological forces in human behavior is scarcity. People naturally value what is rare. This applies to everything in life. Rare art is valuable, limited opportunities feel exciting, and attention that is not freely given suddenly becomes meaningful. When a man constantly texts, constantly calls, and constantly seeks validation, his attention becomes predictable. Predictability reduces mystery, and mystery is a powerful ingredient in attraction. But when a man is not constantly available, when he has his own life, his own goals, and his own priorities, his attention becomes something that must be earned. This changes everything. Now his attention feels valuable. This doesn't mean ignoring someone out of arrogance. It means living a life so full that attention cannot be given endlessly. Stoic philosophers understood this principle long before modern psychology. They believed that a man must focus on what truly matters: his character, his discipline, and his purpose. When a man lives this way, he naturally becomes less desperate for approval. And ironically, that calm independence becomes magnetic, because people are drawn to those who appear complete within themselves. 2. Desperation destroys attraction. There is nothing more damaging to attraction than desperation. Desperation sends a silent message. It says, "I need your attention to feel valuable." And when someone senses that they hold that much power over you, the dynamic becomes unbalanced. Stoicism teaches the opposite mindset. A Stoic man does not beg for attention. He does not chase validation. He does not panic when someone pulls away. Instead, he remains centered. He understands that his worth is not determined by someone else's approval. This calm self-respect creates a powerful psychological shift. Now the woman begins to feel something unexpected: curiosity. She begins to wonder, why isn't he chasing me like everyone else? Why does he seem so calm? Why does he seem unaffected? Curiosity leads to attention, and attention leads to attraction. 3. Emotional control is magnetic. One of the most attractive traits a man can possess is emotional control. Not emotional suppression, but emotional discipline. When a man becomes easily upset, jealous, or reactive, it signals instability. But when a man remains calm in situations that would normally trigger others, he demonstrates inner strength. Stoicism emphasizes mastery over emotions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you should not allow external events to disturb your inner peace. When a man embodies this philosophy, something powerful happens. His presence becomes steady, predictable in the best way, grounded, and in a world full of emotional chaos, this kind of stability becomes incredibly attractive. Because people naturally feel safer around someone who is emotionally controlled. 4. The power of a man with purpose. A man without purpose will always chase people. A man with purpose will chase progress. This difference changes everything. When a man's life revolves around trying to impress women, he slowly loses respect for himself. But when his life revolves around building something meaningful, a career, a mission, a vision, he becomes focused on growth. And that focus creates a powerful energy. He walks differently, he speaks differently, he carries himself with confidence. Not because he is trying to impress anyone, but because he knows where he is going. This is what Stoic philosophy encourages. Focus on what you can control. Improve your character. Strengthen your discipline. Pursue your purpose. When a man does this, he becomes someone who attracts attention naturally, without chasing it. 5. Mystery sparks attraction. Human beings are naturally curious. When everything about someone is immediately available, curiosity fades quickly. But when someone reveals themselves slowly, curiosity grows. A man who talks too much about himself, constantly explains his feelings, and constantly seeks reassurance removes all mystery from the interaction. But a man who speaks thoughtfully, listens carefully, and reveals himself gradually creates intrigue. Stoicism encourages thoughtful speech. The Stoic man speaks when necessary. He observes more than he reacts. And because he does not constantly seek attention, people become curious about him. They begin to wonder what he is thinking, what he values, what his story is, and curiosity often becomes the spark that ignites attraction. 6. Confidence without validation. There is a type of confidence that depends on praise. And there is a type of confidence that exists without it. The first type is fragile. The second type is powerful. A man who constantly seeks compliments or reassurance shows that his confidence is borrowed from others. But a Stoic man builds confidence internally. He measures himself by his principles, not by applause. When a woman encounters a man who does not rely on her approval to feel confident, it creates a unique dynamic. He is not trying to impress her. He is simply being himself. And paradoxically, this is often far more impressive than trying to impress someone. 7. Attention becomes a reward. When a man gives unlimited attention, it loses meaning. But when attention is given intentionally, it becomes valuable. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, a man responds instantly to every message, cancels plans for her, and constantly tries to prove his interest. In the second, a man lives his life fully, responds when he can, and gives attention when he genuinely wants to. In the first scenario, his attention feels cheap. In the second scenario, his attention feels special. Not because he is pretending to ignore her, but because he respects his own time. Stoicism teaches that time is one of the most valuable resources we possess. A man who understands this does not waste it trying to win approval. He invests it in things that matter. Conclusion: the truth is simple. Women do not necessarily want men who ignore them. They want men who do not depend on them. They want men who are emotionally strong. Men who have purpose. Men who respect themselves enough not to chase endlessly. Stoicism teaches us that true power comes from self-mastery. When a man stops chasing validation, something incredible happens. He becomes free. Free from the anxiety of approval. Free from the fear of rejection. Free to live according to his own principles. And once a man reaches that point, his presence alone becomes powerful. Because the strongest man in the room is not the one demanding attention. It is the one who does not need it. Why women want men who ignore them. Stop chasing her. Stoic Attraction Secrets Part 2. The man who walks away has power. One of the strongest psychological shifts in attraction happens the moment a man realizes he can walk away. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but in calm acceptance. Most men are afraid to lose a woman they like. Because of that fear, they tolerate behavior that slowly destroys their dignity. They accept disrespect, mixed signals, emotional games, and endless uncertainty. But a Stoic man sees relationships differently. He understands that self-respect must always come before attachment. When a woman senses that a man is willing to walk away if he is not valued, something changes inside her perception of him. He no longer appears desperate. He appears strong, and strength naturally commands respect. The Stoic philosopher understood that clinging to things we cannot control leads only to suffering. And relationships are no different. You cannot control someone's feelings. You cannot force someone to value you. But you can control how much of your dignity you are willing to sacrifice. The man who knows when to walk away is the man who protects his peace. And paradoxically, that willingness to leave often makes people respect him more. 9. Over-pursuing creates emotional pressure. Many men believe attraction grows through constant effort. They think if they text more, call more, compliment more, and pursue harder, the woman will feel increasingly drawn to them. But attraction does not grow under pressure. It grows in freedom. When someone feels chased constantly, it can create emotional suffocation. Instead of feeling excited to talk to you, the person may begin to feel overwhelmed. This is why Stoic restraint is powerful. A Stoic man does not flood someone with attention. He allows space. Space allows anticipation. Space allows curiosity. Space allows feelings to develop naturally. When someone chooses to reach out to you, rather than being chased constantly, the interaction becomes voluntary rather than forced. And voluntary interest is always stronger. 10. Independence is incredibly attractive. One of the most attractive traits any person can have is independence. Not isolation, not emotional coldness, but genuine independence. An independent man has his own life. He has hobbies. He has ambitions. He has goals that exist beyond romantic validation. When a woman meets a man like this, she immediately senses that she is entering his world, not becoming the center of it, and this creates a powerful dynamic. Because many people are used to being chased by those who want something from them. But a man who already has a fulfilling life does not appear needy. He appears selective. And selectiveness signals value. Stoic philosophy teaches that a meaningful life should never depend entirely on another person. Relationships should enhance your life, not define it. And when a man understands this deeply, he begins to approach relationships with calm confidence rather than desperation. 11. The silent power of self-respect. Self-respect is something people feel long before they hear you speak. It shows in posture. It shows in boundaries. It shows in the decisions you make. Many men lose attraction not because they are unattractive, but because they abandon their self-respect in order to keep someone interested. They tolerate disrespectful jokes. They accept inconsistent behavior. They pretend not to notice when they are being treated poorly. But every time a man ignores his own boundaries, he slowly communicates something without realizing it. He communicates that his standards are flexible. And when standards are flexible, respect begins to disappear. A Stoic man does the opposite. He treats himself with quiet dignity. He does not explode emotionally. He does not argue endlessly. But he also does not tolerate behavior that undermines his self-respect. And when someone sees that you respect yourself deeply, they are far more likely to respect you as well. 12. Calm men are rare. Modern life is loud. People react quickly. They argue online. They chase validation. They panic when things don't go their way. But the Stoic man is different. He is calm. He observes before reacting. He speaks carefully rather than emotionally. And in a world full of emotional chaos, calmness becomes incredibly rare. Rarity creates fascination. When a woman encounters a man who is emotionally steady and grounded, she may not even understand why she feels drawn to him. But subconsciously, she senses safety and strength. Calm men do not need to prove dominance. They do not need to win every argument. Their presence alone communicates confidence. And confidence without noise is extremely attractive. 13. The danger of making a woman your purpose. One of the most damaging mistakes a man can make is turning a woman into the center of his entire world. When this happens, everything becomes about her. Her mood determines his happiness. Her attention determines his confidence. Her approval determines his self-worth. But this creates a fragile emotional structure. Because the moment she withdraws attention, the man feels lost. Stoicism warns against placing our emotional stability in things we cannot control. And another person's feelings are one of the most unpredictable forces in life. A healthy relationship should involve two people who both have purpose. Two people who both have direction. Two people who choose each other, not because they are emotionally dependent, but because they genuinely value each other's presence. When a man builds a life with strong foundations, relationships become part of his journey, not the entire destination. 14. Attraction grows in uncertainty. One uncomfortable truth about attraction is that it often grows in uncertainty. When everything is guaranteed, excitement fades. But when there is a slight sense of unpredictability, curiosity grows. This is why constant reassurance can sometimes weaken attraction. When a man repeatedly says things like, "I'll never leave you. I'll always chase you. I'll do anything for you," it may sound romantic at first, but it can also remove the natural tension that makes relationships exciting. Stoic men avoid making dramatic promises. They focus on consistent actions instead. They let their behavior speak rather than their words. And when actions replace constant declarations, attraction becomes rooted in reality rather than fantasy. 15. The man who values his time. Time is the most valuable resource a person has. Once it passes, it never returns. Yet many people give their time away carelessly. They spend hours chasing people who barely respond. They invest emotional energy into situations that lead nowhere. But the Stoic man values his time deeply. He invests his attention where it is appreciated. He does not waste hours trying to convince someone to see his worth. Because he understands something important, the right people will not need constant convincing. They will recognize value naturally. And the more a man respects his own time, the more others begin to respect it as well. Mid-video engagement. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. Have you ever chased someone who slowly lost interest the more attention you gave? Have you ever noticed how people sometimes become curious the moment you stop trying to impress them? This is not coincidence. It is human psychology, and understanding it can completely change the way you approach relationships. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe to Inner Steel, where we explore Stoic philosophy, emotional strength, and the mindset that helps men build powerful lives. Because becoming a strong man is not about manipulating people. It is about mastering yourself. 16. Silence reveals true interest. When you stop chasing, something interesting happens. Silence reveals the truth. Some people disappear, others step closer. When attention is constantly given, it is difficult to know whether someone truly values you or simply enjoys the attention. But when attention becomes limited, real interest begins to show itself. People who genuinely value you will make effort. They will reach out. They will show curiosity. And those who never cared will quietly fade away. This is not loss. This is clarity. And clarity is powerful. 17. The Stoic mindset of detachment. Detachment does not mean emotional coldness. It means emotional balance. A Stoic man allows himself to enjoy relationships, but he does not allow them to control his inner peace. If someone chooses to stay, he appreciates it. If someone chooses to leave, he accepts it because he understands that people are free to make their own choices. This mindset creates a powerful sense of calm. A man who is not afraid of losing someone behaves differently. He speaks honestly. He sets boundaries. He remains authentic. And authenticity is far more attractive than desperate performance. Transition to part 3. The truth is, attraction is not built by chasing harder. It is built by becoming stronger. By developing purpose. By mastering emotions. By building a life that feels meaningful even when you are alone.